They say the most unforgettable rides aren't about where you're going, but who you meet along the way. That Saturday morning was supposed to be routine. Just another cold Canadian dawn, another hard-working man trying to provide for his family. My body was begging for rest, my coffee had long gone cold, and home was the only thing on my mind. But fate, or maybe just the rideshare app, had one more plan for me. One last trip that would remind me how quickly an ordinary day can turn into a story you will tell for years. Welcome back to another episode in the Chronicles of a Rideshare Driver. Today's episode is A Ride to Remember. It was one of those chilly Canadian mornings when the streets are quiet, and even the wind seems tired. I had just finished a long night shift. My back ached, my eyes were heavy, and every muscle in my body was screaming for rest. The plan was simple: finish my shift, grab a hot drink, and drive straight home. But life, as usual, had other plans. I turned on my rideshare app just to see if I could get one last ride to supplement my income before heading home. You know how it is. Sometimes that one more ride can make all the difference, especially when it's a good fare. So when a request popped up that wasn't exactly on my way home but paid better than usual, I couldn't resist. I took it. I remember thinking, right Casey, just one more trip, then home. Little did I know that this ride would turn into something I'd remember for years. The car pulled up to the address and a woman got in. At first, the ride was quiet, just the soft hum of the engine and a faint perfume that lingered from her clothes. But a few minutes in, she started speaking. "So, where are you from?" she asked suddenly, her voice a little groggy. "I'm from Nigeria," I replied with a little smile, trying to be friendly. Her eyes lit up. "Oh, Nigeria! I have lots of Nigerian friends. You people are so friendly and funny, you know that?" I chuckled softly. "We try our best," I said, adding with a smile, "We're good people." That was the first of what would be many rounds of the same exact conversation. Every 5 or 10 minutes, like clockwork, she'd ask me again, "So, where are you from?" And again I'd say, "Nigeria." And just like before, she'd light up and say, "Oh, I love Nigerians." Each time she'd sort of fade into a half sleep, then wake up a few minutes later and start the cycle all over again. I wasn't annoyed, it was actually kind of funny. At one point I smiled to myself and thought, well, at least she's friendly. The repetitive conversation was a bit strange, but harmless. However, about halfway through the ride, things took a very sharp turn. Out of nowhere, she leaned forward from the back seat, getting a bit closer. "You have such nice glasses," she said, her tone changing slightly. "That geeky look suits you. It's kind of my thing." I glanced at her through the rearview mirror, a little surprised, and just smiled politely. "Thank you, but trust me, I'm no geek." She giggled. "Oh, come on. You look like the kind of guy who reads poetry and fixes computers for fun. I like that type." I kept my eyes on the road, feeling a little awkward, but trying to brush it off. Little did I know this was just the beginning of a very, very long ride. Thanks for tuning in. This story gets even crazier, so make sure you're resubscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next part. Trust me, you'll want to hear how this ends. See you in the next one.